When I was adopted, when I was 6 years old, I was brought over to America and I was actually abused. You would think that my life would have been better, but it actually became a nightmare. It was very hard and I was very confused. I actually resented Americans for a while because of all the pain that I endured. When I was 10 years old, I went into my first foster home. I was very scared at first because I didn't know what was happening, and but at the same time, even though after the fear wore off, I was hopeful. However, when I came back home later on that day, my suitcases were packed and I was leaving. And ever since then, I just went from home to home. Instability wasn't there. I was in more than 20 plus homes during my stay in foster care. And when I was 14, I actually found myself in a jail cell for 15 days exactly. And you would think that would have been the worst time of my life, but in reality, it was actually, I felt more at peace when I was there. Peace from the caseworkers and from everyone trying to bombard me with questions and stuff. I was alone. And on my last day, right before leaving, I was there for 15 days, so on the 14th day, on a Thursday, I met a lady who came to my cell and she was like, you know, there's a God who loves you and he has his arms out like this and he just wants you to talk to him. All you have to do is talk to him. And that was the first time that the first time I heard someone who seemed genuine. Because trust wasn't even a thing. I didn't trust people. And even though I didn't want to listen to her at that time, that seed was planted right then and there. A year passed and I was in a group home. I like to call it my last trial. And I was about to get jumped by the girls at the home. And I remember that lady. I remember her telling me that there's a God who loves me and that all he wants me to do is talk to him. And at that time, I couldn't get in any more trouble because I didn't want to get locked up till I was 18. That wasn't what I wanted. I knew that then. And so I ran in my room and I put a chair by the door because we weren't allowed to have locks. And I fell to my knees and I remember that lady and I was like, all you have to do is talk to him. So right then and there, I fell to my knees and I bawled my eyes out and I cried to a God that I didn't even know really existed. A God that I didn't really know much about, but at that point I didn't have anything to lose. And I prayed and I cried and I was like, Lord, if you're real, show yourself to me. If you're real, you know my heart and you know what I've gone through and you will help me, but I can't do this anymore. And I prayed and I was like, I just want a family who will love me and will not judge me for my past or for everything that I've done. And I just prayed for about an hour and cried, and the girls were pounding on the door trying to get in, and I just prayed and I prayed. And a week later of 2014, it was November 3rd, 2014, I met Bonnie. And so happens that she was a pastor. And my prayer was answered. I think God knew the sincerity in my heart, and he knew that I couldn't wait any longer. I had lost the hope years ago, and my hope was restored. I had a Chili's in Sebring. After the meeting, I called her and I asked her if she was interested in adopting a girl. And it so happened that God is good and faithful, and Bonnie had already had that in mind. She didn't bring it up to me. She let me bring it up to her. And I believe that was God kind of confirming that this was meant to be. After that, we went through the process of getting to know each other and going on these family outings. And although I wasn't used to family gatherings because I never really had that prior to that, I remember the excitement, and for the first time I felt like I belonged to someone. I knew without a shadow of my mind that I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Bonnie and Keith, my parents actually, answering that call. And them knowing that my past didn't define me. And just their love has pointed me to the cross each and every day. It hasn't been an easy ride, of course, but their love is so genuine and so passionate that each and every day their love has pointed me closer to Christ. I received Christ when I was 16 years old. I got baptized by Pastor Jack Hilligoss. You would think that I would despise my past and I would despise all my abusers, but actually I'm thankful for them, because through that pain and through those trials, I have this passion to love and serve people, especially kids who've gone through similar situations as me. And I believe in my heart that God's going to use my story to bring others to His kingdom for His glory. And I strongly believe that in the valleys, God intends to use us because we're more receptive to hearing His voice, and we're more receptive to wanting to hear Him. And I believe God has put that passion and allowed me to go through what I went through so that I can help people in those valleys. I am Izzy Barker, and I've been chosen.